court case is revealed. I'm Abby.
And I'm Jada. Tonight we'll be discussing the Mapp vs. Ohio court case from 1961.
This case started in 1957 when police officers knocked on Doreen Mapp's door, demanding entrance after receiving information that a suspect of a house bombing was hiding in her house.
Mapp asked for a warrant. The police did not give her one, so she refused entrance. After a few of the police left and came back with a sheet of paper claiming it was a warrant, Mapp snatched the warrant and the police handcuffed her for being belligerent and entered her house.
They did not find the bombing suspect, but they did find pornographic material in a suitcase in Mapp's basement. She claimed it wasn't hers as she boarded out her home, and that it was left over from a former resident.
However, she was arrested, prosecuted, found guilty, and sentenced for possession of pornographic material, which was illegal in Ohio at the time. No search warrant for her home was introduced at the trial.
This violated the Fourth Amendment, which protects from unreasonable searches and seizures. But at this time, this was only upheld for federal courts, not state courts.
Let's cut to Sydney, who is live on the steps of the Supreme Court to reveal the final decision.
Thanks, Jada. I'm here reporting from the Supreme Court, and justice is in the air. Before we hear the final decision, let me take you through the steps of the case. Mapp's first trial was held in 1958 at the Common Pleas Court for Cuyahoga County, where the decision was made that she was guilty of having pornographic material, even though it was obtained through a search of her house without a warrant. From there, it went to the Ohio Court of Appeals in 1959, where the conviction was upheld. In 1960, it arrived at the Supreme Court of Ohio, where they also upheld the conviction. And then, in 1961, it finally ended up at the Supreme Court of the United States. Okay, now it's time for the final decision. In a 6-3 vote in favor of Mapp, the Supreme Court ruled that her constitutional rights had been violated and her conviction was appealed. That's it from DC. Back to you, Abby and Jada.
Thanks, Sydney. Now that's judicial activism if I've heard it.
I know. Way to go, Supreme Court, for protecting our constitutional rights. Abby, now let's discuss the meat of this case. What was the proceeding set?
That's a great question, Jada. The Supreme Court's ruling now makes the exclusionary rule apply to the state courts too, not just the federal courts.
What's the exclusionary rule?
The exclusionary rule prohibits the use of illegally obtained evidence in a criminal trial.
So this means that state courts are held to the same standard as federal courts when evidence is obtained without the use of proper search warrant, ensuring material obtained without the legitimate search warrant or probable cause cannot be used to prosecute a defendant in any court.
Exactly. This basically started applying the Bill of Rights to criminal procedures.
Whoa! That proceeding is extremely important. How has this made an impact in history? How has this affected other cases?
This affected history by allowing no room for illegal searches. Police must always have a legitimate search warrant to search one's property.
Hey, this case also shows that certain cases can be inferred from what the Constitution states, such as protection of privacy. As well, this also influences the type of information that is held accountable in court.
That's very true. I can already tell Mapp vs. Ohio is going to be a vital case for future generations too. Well, I think that's all we have for today.
Thanks for joining us to get an inside look on Mapp vs. Ohio. Have a good night. Bye.